Good morning and welcome to the Stahls TV Morning Show.
It is a lovely morning here in southwestern Pennsylvania. We're anticipating the big winter storm. I think they named it Stella. Blizzard warnings for the east side of our state. I think we're supposed to get 4 to 8 inches of snow, so glad we're here this morning though.
What better time to talk about spring?
Yeah.
And spring sports specifically will be our topic, our main topic for today. So we welcome all of you joining us on Facebook Live or through the GoToWebinar client. As always, you can type in your questions any way you're watching us, and we will answer those throughout the episode or get to them directly after the episode. Also, we'd like to thank those of you listening to us in our podcast, which we're publishing every week now, and you can download from the podcast section of your mobile device.
So many ways to get content from Stahls.
That's right. We're trying to make it easy for you.
Great.
And part of making it easy is we give you multiple ways to submit our weekly contest through the Stahls TV Morning Show, which is Look of the Week. But before I get to the ways to submit, let's share this week's winner. And Leanne Scanlon submitted on Facebook this set of items, really looks of the week in this case. But we love this set, number one, because it's so timely as far as the St. Patrick's holiday coming up, and also the products and the designs being used. There's just a great collection that you can imagine selling well and merchandise there in her local store in the Chicago area.
Yeah, she made great use of the Chicago skyline, which I know that has been a trend here over the past 12 to 18 months. We've seen it and heard it at trade shows. A lot of folks who sell on Instagram and Etsy with their heat transfer businesses are making a lot of money using the skylines of their local cities, appealing to a specific market.
Yeah, also made great use of heat transfer foil, which is a new product that we have from Stahls with Cad-Cut Adhesive plus heat transfer foil. We've been promoting that a lot and getting great response, particularly the rose gold color works well here for St. Patrick's Day. We've been seeing a lot of gold foil being utilized for St. Patrick's Day designs on green, very popular colorway, and rose gold plays nicely into that as well.
Do you celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah, actually we have a party at my mother-in-law's Saturday where we're having, I don't know, my father-in-law's cooking all kinds of cool stuff, and my daughter's more excited about it than I am, but I will be wearing green and enjoying some food. How about you?
No real traditions on St. Patrick's Day. I'm pretty sure the kids, maybe it's Crazy Hat Day or something at school. I don't know.
You're not going to color the milk green or anything for the morning?
No, not going to do that.
Okay, but congratulations anyway to Leanne. If you want to submit for Look of the Week and share still some of your St. Patrick's Day designs, even next week, email them to tv@stahls.com, or you can always tag us on Instagram or submit them to Stahls Show and Tell on the Facebook page. All of those different ways are flashing across the bottom of the screen and how to do that. And so this past week we published 6 new videos on Stahls TV covering a new product offering at Stahls.com, which is called Cad-Cut Templates.
Yeah, it's a real exciting product offering in that there's not a lot of work that you have to do other than pulling down some artwork off of the internet, doing a little bit of design work. And there's a lot of, I don't want to call them secret tools or hidden tools, but there's a lot to understand about the designer. There's more than meets the eye that's there, and that's really what your video covers here this morning.
Yeah, so there's some new functionality, and so for this week's version of Make It Monday, we chose just to select one of these newly published videos featuring this new exciting product that ties in to spring sports. So let's roll that video for you now. The Cad-Cut Templates Designer on Stahls.com for registered users is a great tool for your business, allowing you to get ready-to-heat apply heat transfer vinyl designs in a variety of effects and finishes. I'd like to show you some of the power of this system, specifically with something called interchangeable data. Interchangeable data allows you to take a design element, such as a personalized number or letter or name, within a design and customize it for every single piece, giving you the power of personalization, but getting a price break as if you were ordering a larger quantity. Let's launch the template designer within Stahls.com, and I'll show you exactly how this works. With the Templates Designer launched, you can choose from a selection of pre-designed templates in hot and trending styles, swapping in clip art and adding text in popular fonts. Now, there's a drop-down once you're in the Templates menu that's titled Interchangeable Data. If you go to that interchangeable data category, it's going to bring in a selection of templates that allow this functionality. In this case, I'll aim to recreate the design that I've already ordered, selecting Riverside Bulldogs as my layout. Now, of course, the power of Cad-Cut Templates is that I can customize all aspects of the design. Everything from the specific text drop, to the font, to the actual clip art that's included. So this particular design was created for a local high school here in southwestern Pennsylvania called the Albert Gallatin Colonials. You'll notice that this is a basketball clip art, but I could swap clip art for a variety of other shapes if I liked it, from states to you name it. You'll want to make sure that you maintain the interchangeable data clip art elements in order to customize the center of the design. In this case, we'll just stick with the basketball that we already have on the screen. Now, with that design created, something I like to do first is actually size it to the particular dimensions that I want. In this case, 12 inches across is fine. And I like to select the material color that I prefer. In this case, we're going to go with the gray material, and we're going to drop it onto a navy blue background. And that'll allow me to sort of get the look of what I'm creating. Now, you can see over in the right-hand side of your design, it's quoting me a price of $10.02 per piece for this one-off quantity. Perhaps I don't want number 35. I can drop in number 23. I need one piece because there's only one number 23 on the team. But there also is a number 22, a number 10, a number 12, a number 15, and so on. As you begin to add this customization to your particular design, you'll see that you can click on any particular element and preview it. And what I'm getting now is a quantity of 6 in the right-hand side of the screen. Notice how that updated from 1 piece to 6 pieces? Although each piece is personalized with interchangeable data, I'm getting the benefit of a lower overall price per design based on the quantity that I'm ordering. I can save this job in case I want to order it later or work with the same interchangeable data for the same team, or I can simply add it to cart and check out, getting my design pre-cut, weeded, and ready to heat apply in a matter of days. Let's head over to the heat press and I'll show you how Cad-Cut thermofilm applies down to this hooded sweatshirt. I'm utilizing the Hotronix Fusion heat press, which is one of my favorite heat presses that we have because it allows interchangeable bottom attachments. That makes it perfect for a variety of jobs, including the front placement on this hooded sweatshirt. Remember, I'm printing a 12-inch wide print area, and I've loaded in my 11 by 15 inch platen. Okay. The reason I like this platen is it allows me to thread the hoodie onto the press and get rid of the majority of my seams, in this case the larger seams, which is the pocket. Once into place, I'm going to double check my pressure and preheat the garment. Following the recommended application instructions for thermofilm, I'll simply peel my design from the carrier that it arrives on. Notice that all of the centers are completely cleaned out and weeded, and your design is ready to just position and press. And that's what makes Cad-Cut Templates so great. So fast and so easy. Heat press the thermofilm for 6 to 8 seconds. Then I will hot peel the carrier. And I'm ready to move on to my next customization for my next player, all with interchangeable data in Cad-Cut Templates. It doesn't get easier to customize than it does with heat transfer vinyl through this process.
So Cad-Cut Templates are a really powerful, helpful tool to be able to create great looking garments like the one that we have in front of us.
Yeah, I love it because it takes away the weeding time, and you know, I like the value of a vinyl cutter, and I personally don't mind weeding, but if you're a small shop, you know, weeding can get in the way of lining up the next sale sometimes and really keep you up late hours often. And so Cad-Cut Templates is a great design platform to just keep jobs turning. You'll probably sacrifice a few dollars in profit, per piece because you're waiting on, you're paying a little more and just waiting a day or two for them to come in. But to solve that weeding challenge for me, I'm not worried about a couple dollars in profit. I'm going to sell that many more jobs.
Yeah, so we had a question come in on Facebook Live about this particular sweatshirt. Where's the sweatshirt from?
This particular one was given to us from J America, and we actually highlighted this a little earlier in the year on one of our trend pieces. A couple things that are really nice about this sweatshirt. Well, it's performance wear number one, but then you have the sort of higher neckline design, which is really trending right now. And then you have sort of the static print or the visual texture that you get in the color blocked sleeves and hoods. So thank J America for sponsoring Stahls TV and giving us that for this episode.
So our episode's all about spring sports, and I know you took the sweatshirt out of the way because I'm pretty sure basketball doesn't qualify as a spring sport.
Technically, I don't think it's on our list of spring sports from a high school level to be decorating for, but I consider basketball a year-round sport.
Oh, year-round sport.
My favorite sport, and so we're just getting into March Madness time, so I think it's very timely. Everybody's filling out their brackets.
In the spring, you get to hit the playground and play as well.
Hopefully picking West Virginia in their brackets.
Right. So what are the spring sports that we're going to be talking about today?
Today we have soccer, baseball, and lacrosse sort of as our big three, and then we have dance as an honorable mention because it's recital time, approaching recital time for most dance schools, so it's an opportunity that people can capitalize on.
Yeah, so the biggest deal with pretty much any sport is the numbering side of things, because sometimes you'll get into little leagues and things where they don't want to put a kid's name on the back. Even some of the college teams you see don't do that, but there's numbers on every single jersey, so we should probably focus our conversation today on different ways to number jerseys.
Right, and we recently did a package stuffer from Stahls.com, and I want to bring that visual up because it'll help walk through sort of our numbering in the three different ways that we've outlined to number as far as ordering numbers pre-done. And so we always lead with highlighting pre-cut numbers and really what they are. So a pre-cut number is basically a loose number created from heat transfer vinyl, which is sort of our first umbrella of numbering techniques that we'll go through. So all of which we'll talk about now are heat transfer vinyl numbering options. But getting loose pre-cut numbers that you can position down onto the jersey and heat apply. Foregrounds come separate from backgrounds. You need to manually lay them out, but this really helps to pull a lot of cost out of the numbering equation for a decorator.
Yeah, if we're looking at the football jersey on the screen there with that 2-color number, we're talking an 8 or 10 inch number is going to be about 35 cents per digit. And we had a double digit on that jersey and it was 2 colors. So we're looking at about $1.40 to decorate the front of that football jersey with numbers.
Right, and if you would consider cutting that 2-color number combination yourself, you're going to have a minimum of probably $2 in it by the time you take about 100 square inches, a 10 by 10 layout roughly with waste for that double-digit number. So you're going to save, I don't know, that's about 40% or 30%, I believe, in savings by doing the pre-cut numbers. Now, having said that, pre-cut letters are another choice. So technically what the piece is saying here is you could order the letters and individually lay them out for the word mark, or you can order them pre-spaced. I tend to lean towards pre-spaced as being my choice for names and letters specifically, because the benefits of pre-space is I don't have to waste a lot of time laying out the name on the jersey. So in that case, a 6-digit name with the number 9, I can get one pre-spaced name drop, match it with my number, or even get it pre-spaced with my number. And so when you start to talk about that, it's one simple placement. So you, just as if you would cut it on your vinyl cutter, you can order it pre-cut, weeded for you, similar to the Cad-Cut Templates design, where it comes pre-spaced on a carrier. You lay the name and number down in one hit and just press it. That's the fast way to do it.
Yeah, and the answer for you might not be the same as another shop that's watching. It really depends on what your shop prioritizes, the amount of staff that you have operating your heat press, and the amount of time that you have to dedicate to weeding, or if you prefer dedicating that time to selling or some other activity that you have to get done.
Yeah, so really in that piece we highlighted pre-cut numbers with pre-cut letters. That's one way to order numbers or letters. Then you can get pre-spaced numbers or letters all together or as separate components. I think the most cost-effective way is to combine the two, to order the name pre-spaced or cut it on your vinyl cutter and use the pre-cut numbers. That'll give you the lowest overall price to decorate, but from a simplicity of workflow, ordering it in pre-space is going to be the fastest.
Now, the pre-cut terminology, if we were in the business 5 or 10 years ago, which some of our viewers may have been, that used to be known as die cuts, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So you get a stack of numbers. You basically buy them in packs or kits. You can get hundreds of digits in a kit for a certain price. And of course, you can choose all the different heat transfer film styles that are available, but we tend to promote thermofilm a lot as the choice product for athletic numbering because it works across a wide range of fabrics, and you don't have, it works on mesh fabrics as well, and you don't have the dye migration challenges that you can have with some of the thinner, lighter weight films when a polyester jersey wants to bleed through. The numbering thermofilm will resist that.
Yeah, and you don't have to take our word for it that thermofilm is the choice of decorators across the country. I believe Ted posted last year that I think last spring sports season we sold 4 million thermofilm numbers, so they're on jerseys pretty much on any field.
Yeah, millions of letters and numbers from thermofilm. So you start to get into multicolor combinations here on this particular jersey. We have a 2-color number combination. We also have a athletic tail, which is something that you can order pre-done or cut it yourself, design it and cut it yourself, and heat apply it with heat transfer film. But when you start to get into 3 colors or more, we start to look at other numbering techniques, specifically print cut as a process and digital numbers.
Yeah, there's a couple reasons that we do that. One, when you are layering thermofilm or any other type of film, it can get very heavy on the garment. But what a digital print does is it gives you a single layer that you can heat apply in one step. So you're not cutting, weeding, and applying 3 different times. It is one print and cut motion if you have a print and cut machine, or you just order the transfer from somebody like Stahls, and then single heat application.
Yeah, that's helpful. And then also if you're decorating for rec leagues or travel teams, you tend to get a little more flexibility of what you could do inside of the number. And I'd like to pull that brochure back up, the second page of it, and show you here these full color text and number effects. So the idea that I can take the blue color on that Legends on the back of the volleyball player there, and I can fill it with any pattern, whether that's a camo pattern or a leopard pattern, tie-dye pattern. The idea that I can colorize and hit some of these trending styles where it's not a regulated jersey that has to meet solid colors and certain requirements.
Yeah, and the print and cut or the digital product, if you order in the SuperTech range of products, we have a Sublistop product that can help you deal with the dye migration issues, and it also applies at a much lower temperature than a lot of the other transfers out there.
Yep, and just before we leave the digital technology in and of itself, if you happen to have a printer cutter, or you're like, I'd really like to do those digital numbers and invest in a printer cutter, the idea with this machine is its versatility. And so when you talk about spring sports, let's take soccer for an example. The idea that you can do digital transfers off of that machine on a bag. Of course, you can order these as CAD prints pre-done as well from Stahls. You can do things like pad folios, which we did on a recent Make It Monday here on the Stahls TV Morning Show. Showed you some techniques for printing these without scorching. Then if I want to get into non-apparel applications, I can do things like direct print to banner material and grommet it, or wall graphic material, or even decals for window graphics that go on the back of a vehicle or the side of a helmet or whatever it may be. So there's a lot of functionality to a print cut device and the digital technique. So you can use it for your numbers, but you can use it for a lot more.
You can also do that with some of the single color vinyls. You would just have to buy a different type of vinyl, obviously, if you're going to be making 1-color decals for the back of somebody's minivan or something like that. That's where you usually see it.
Yeah, so it's all about the artwork in that case and what you want to create from a color standpoint, number of colors. Digital numbers tend to work well. 3 or more colors, it's a better fit than layering heat transfer vinyl. Okay.
Now, did we talk about the higher end look yet? Like if we want to take it up a notch on jerseys that potentially would be more reusable and actually more profit for you.
Yeah, so I think that would be, sort of encompass the main options in our heat transfer vinyl bucket. And then if you want to get more of an authentic look, we start to look at products like tackle twill, or the idea of sewing twill fabrics, polyester twill, down to a jersey. And so we have one sample of that here I'd like to show you that was conducted on a split front jersey here. You see this commonly sort of at the professional or even collegiate intermediate level where the twill is actually cut and sewn down to the garment. So just, as further proof, you see the actual stitching on the inside. So you do have to have an embroidery machine or sewing machine to complete this application, but you can order, once again, rolls of twill to cut on your vinyl cutter and complete this workflow. But you have to have a sew file if you're going to be using an embroidery machine. Yes, and you'd also be looking at pressure-sensitive twill, because most of you folks with a vinyl cutter know that it has to have a backer to be kiss cut. So you're looking for pressure-sensitive twill to run through your vinyl cutter. However, Stahls can take care of coming up with that sew file for you, sending you the items, and all you're going to do is place it on your garment and let your embroidery machine do the work. Yeah, and one of the things I love is that you can actually buy a whole sew file disc called Auto Stitch, and then you can just buy the pre-cut loose twill numbers from Stahls. And so you have the sew file, you pay for it once for the varsity font and 8-inch numbers and all the different styles and options, and then you order in the pre-cut numbers. So it's a really cost-effective way to do athletic numbering out of twill, which kind of puts you at a premium price point. So you can offer both, have your heat transfer vinyl as your good, have your tackle twill as your better or best from a choice standpoint. And for those of you who haven't invested in an embroidery machine or don't have sewing capability, Stahls does have an option for you as well to get a twill finish. Yeah, and that's really a product that we call SimStitch, is our trademark brand name for it. And so the idea here is, now this is also combining digital into the SimStitch, so you get a full color digital fill, but this could be a single color of twill, and you get that sort of edge that looks like it's sewn, but it's actually not. It's just a simulated stitch edge. And you order this either in numbers, a word mark, letters, however you want to order it, in whatever colors, and you just heat press it down on your heat press machine. Everything needs to be placed individually, so this L, wrong side, L is placed separately from the script with tail in this case, which we combine to make the layout easy. But as further proof, flip this inside out, you don't see any stitching at all on the inside, it's simply heat pressed. And so, and it's going to last and feel the same way that your regular polyester twill that you would sew to the garment is. Yeah, the only real challenge is, so that gives you an option if you don't have embroidery or sewing, or maybe you do have it but don't want to spend the time and tie up your capacity, a way to quickly do names and numbers with something that gives you that authentic look at a lower price point. Now, the one caution I'll give you is on products like SimStitch, they do tend to require more time, more temperature to get through the twill to the adhesive, so you want to make sure your garment's not extremely heat sensitive when you're decorating with these products, because you could run into scorch mark issues. So testing the application is important. I think we have a question coming in now, so we'll go ahead and take that.
Yes, Michael would like to know if you could show the nylon bag again, and they would like to know what is the material that you used on the bag.
Sure, and this may be a polyester bag, maybe a denier polyester, maybe a denier nylon. I haven't looked at the construction, but the product that I'm guessing is used on this, because I didn't print this one myself, I would use Supertex Sublastop, and the reason is if this is polyester, we're going to have dye migration issues on printing a polyester bag, so Sublastop tends to work well. And we've taught it here before, but you can break the rules when it comes to heat printing bags and other items like hats that will not be laundered. So you can use even polyester adhesive materials on a nylon bag because it's not going to be laundered. Basically, you want it to stick and stay. So I like Supertex Sublastop. It's a great choice for full color logos on bags of any style. Yeah. So we've covered heat transfer vinyl and everything that kind of lives in that category. We have covered those folks with an embroidery machine or manual sewing capability that want to do twill. There is what some people would consider a more traditional method to numbering jerseys, and that is screen print. So what do you think about screen print numbers on uniforms? Yeah, when we talk about direct screen printing, I like it for several reasons, but also there are some challenges with it. You get that ink feel on the actual jersey, which is something that I like. Heat transfer film rivals it, but there's still the look and feel of screen printing ink. But the real challenge that you have with screen printing is that you need to start inventorying screens for every single font, every single size, both foregrounds and backgrounds. So you can really have a sizable investment if you're a small to mid-size shop into screen printing equipment, specialized equipment, numbering machines, and screens to do it right. And you also have to have a fair amount of space to be able to inventory that. So while it's a solution for very large-scale decorators that I think is viable, I think it's challenging for a mid to smaller shop.
It's also more difficult to deal with the performance fabrics from a screen print perspective, actually from any perspective, which is why we have heat transfer solutions specific to those performance fabrics. Screen print has its own solutions that are specific, but they're tricky and there's a learning curve.
Yeah, and that's why I think the larger shops tend to do well at screen printing jerseys because they have R&D teams, they've invested the development time, they have a process that they've built in for screen printing. So just be prepared if you want to screen print team uniforms, there's going to be a larger learning curve, a larger point of investment, but that's why one of the best-selling products from Stahls Transfer Express is their screen printed transfer numbers, because they basically take a very complex, expensive solution.
Say, do we have a few of those here?
We do, and simplify it by screen printing the numbers for you. And so basically, this is similar to what we get from a pre-cut number from Stahls, in that you get loose numbers, but the benefit here, it's actual screen printing ink, and you can actually place these sort of edge to edge with the paper to line them up perfectly with the spacing. So a lot of the layout is really simple here, and you may be able to see through the red here, but we have a multicolor number in a single step application.
Yes, and what you get away from with screen print or stocking all of the screens in screen printing, you can stock some of these numbers. You purchase them in much the same way that you would purchase the pre-cut numbers from Stahls, and you can get the different color combinations with the authenticity of a screen print finish, because you are screen printing with a screen print transfer.
Right, and then just to be fair, we have this even internal debate here at Stahls. What's better, a pre-cut number or a screen print transfer number? And I'm not sure, there's so many different scenarios that I'm not sure that we can put it completely to rest and say, here's the definitive best way. But from my perspective, I think a heat transfer film number, specifically with thermofilm, is a little more rugged, a little more tough for contact sports. But there's no doubting that a screen print transfer number is easier to apply in a multicolor number if you're doing like a little league team or something like that. So I think they're both viable solutions. I would encourage you to explore the benefits, try each, and make the decision for your business and what you're decorating. Does that make it clear enough, right?
I think so. Clear as mud. You choose.
Yeah, and if you plan to do names, right? If you plan to do names, the other concept is that Transfer Express will have the screen print transfer names ready for you to heat apply to match the numbers. And we still have a lot of people that will match a heat transfer vinyl number or name that they cut with the screen print transfer numbers, knowing that they're pretty darn close on the back of that jersey.
Especially when you're dealing with the common colors of white and black. At the end of the day, most people still order, I think, 80% of the numbers and letters that we sell here, and about 70 or 80% of the Cad-Cut vinyl that we sell is white and black.
Yep. So we have basically 3 buckets we've categorized your team uniform decorating, at least number and name, your personalization choices into, with a lot of choices within each. They were heat transfer vinyl, with sort of an extension of that of print cut digital vinyl, sewn with tackle twill, whether it's sewn or looks like it's sewn but heat applied, and then screen print, whether it's direct or through screen printed transfer. So between those 3, you should put yourself into a profitable business screen printing team uniforms. And if you really want to follow up and get more information about the specifics, how do I size the numbers for the particular sports? What are the rules? What does the spacing need to be? How big does the name need to be? We have a great resource available from Stahls.com. You just need to search in the search bar Team Decorator, or you can do /catalog, Stahls.com /catalog, and we have a whole Team Decorator guide that you can download for free that will share popular fonts, will share sizes and all of that. And actually, I believe we have a one-pager that will show some popular number styles that we can bring up on screen now for the 3 sports we've talked about today: soccer, baseball, and lacrosse. So this gives you a quick look at sort of what we'll call out from a numbering style, but then we also in that book have the specific sizes that the numbers need to be for both adult and youth jerseys.
Right. Now, a lot of decorators, maybe not a lot, but a lot of teams are out there looking for more of a full color finish across the whole uniform, and we're going to touch on that next week. I'll be here with you. We'll actually have a new co-host, Jimmy Palmer, one of the new guys here with you, and we're going to talk a lot about sublimation and how that plays into the uniform business, especially for spring sports.
Yeah, that's a valid point. So we have sort of the 3 major buckets, but then there's sublimation, which is growing in popularity for all over and for just names and numbers on polyester base garments. So certainly a viable choice. Before we conclude this episode, I want to stop and make sure there's no additional questions coming in from our viewers.
We did have one more question from Rebecca. She was asking about the Cad-Cut templates and if there's instructions about the time, temperature, and pressure on that template on the line.
Yeah, so every heat transfer that you receive from a Stahls company will come with the recipe in the box. So in that case, thermofilm will come with the instructions of, I believe, 330 degrees, 6 to 8 seconds, medium pressure, hot peel. But everyone in the shipment that you receive comes with its application instructions. All right, I think we're all good on questions. If you ask them on Facebook, know that we'll be looking at those Facebook comments. Feel free to type any additional questions that you have now. We'll follow that thread for the next 20 to 30 minutes answering questions after the show. We want to thank you for attending the Stahls TV Morning Show, and Zach and Jimmy, we'll see you next week.